Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jamie and I have got some Dollar Tree Valentine DIYs that I'm excited to share with you, so let's check them out. For this first DIY, I have two bottle brush trees that I had picked up on clearance at Hobby Lobby. You probably recognize them. They're like the pinkish, peachy colored ones. And then from Dollar Tree, I have these glitter vase fillers and some sparkly hearts. And really all I'm going to be doing is hot gluing these onto the trees. So if anybody is, really still wanting trees, because we just had Christmas and we're going into Valentine's Day pretty soon, and you still kind of like in that tree vibe, here are some Valentine trees. This is something I have found on Pinterest. I thought was like super, super cute. Right now, I'm just actually trying to fluff this out because I've had this in storage for like the past year because I meant to do this for you last year and they got smushed. So anyway, I'm working with what I got. So I'm just putting some hot glue on these hearts first, and I don't want to press too hard on them because I don't want them getting smushed into the tree because it's not going to look right. So just kind of gently pushing it onto the bristles so that they still stand out and look really pretty. Once I have all my hearts, I think I did about four. It looks like I'm about to do 5 hearts, but I end up ripping one off and just sticking with the 4 hearts. And then I just take these foam balls and sticking them in random places. I do a mix of the white balls and the smaller red ones and just kind of playing around with it until your eyes are happy. This second DIY is so super simple. I just have some red yarn that I picked up from Dollar Tree and one of these cone-shaped floral foam pieces, and I start off by using some hot glue at the very bottom of this. Now this is also going to be another Valentine tree DIY. And really all you're going to be doing is wrapping this around till you no longer see the foam. And just to really get it going, I just use some hot glue on the bottom, and you can see that I do start off with trying to layer my rows of yarn to be like this nice, neat looking rows. And then I realized this is going to take forever if I do it this way. And you'll see here in just a minute that I just start wrapping like crazy until basically you no longer see the foam. So the yarn is actually sticking to this foam really well without the hot glue, so I don't actually use it again until the very end when I'm trying to cover the very top of this, and you'll see that I'm using the back of my scissors and some hot glue to really cover the top part of that. And then when I'm all done, I just go ahead and cut the excess off, and this is what you have. So then I'm using these really pretty foam roses from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue these on here. And what I was initially going for was like this beautiful like cascade of white roses coming down in a spiral all the way down the cone. But the way I was kind of already, spacing them apart, it probably would have worked better if the cone was actually like longer, like one of those like really big ones. Probably would have looked really pretty. But for how short this one actually is, I probably could have left it just like that with like the one little spiral coming down, and then I put one on the very top right there. But I really didn't feel like this was enough, and I had so many extra roses that I didn't know what I was going to do with, so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and cover this thing with the white roses, and that is what I did. I just covered it in the white roses, and I think this turned out really pretty. This next DIY is super simple. I just had some extra cardboard laying around and I drew out 2 hearts. You could do more. You could do this in any size you want to. I wanted this for my tier tray, which is a video that will be coming soon, how I decorate my tier tray with Valentine's Day decor. But anyway, so I have 2 of these cardboard hearts, and this is something simple that you could just put on a movie or a show and just go, go to town with this project. I found this yarn over at Dollar Tree. I was really excited to see this gray yarn. I thought it was really pretty. I just hold the one end down with my thumb and I just start wrapping it around. And you can go in any direction you want to. There is no wrong or right way to do this. So just keep wrapping until you no longer see the cardboard. It's pretty much that simple. And I don't use any hot glue for this project until the very end, when you just keep wrapping until you feel like your heart is full, about the size you want it. And then you cut the excess off, and then you can just use some hot glue to glue that down. And I did the second one in white, and you'll see here in a second I'll start it, but I'm not going to let you sit through this entire thing because it's really just me wrapping cardboard with the yarn. I don't know how much you really want to see that. So anyway, this was a really cute project, and my kids thought it was really cute too. This next DIY I kept very simple. I just took one of these wood love signs from Dollar Tree and the Waverly chalk paint in Ballet Slipper, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint the letters. I'm keeping it super simple because I'm going to be pairing it with those hearts that I had just showed you. You'll see that in just a minute. I do paint the edges. I just didn't show you all of it, so I don't know what was happening with my chalk paint. I got out as much as I possibly could, but after this chalk paint had sat for a year untouched, it like clumped up like you wouldn't even believe. I even tried shaking the crap out of it, adding water, and it just, nothing was working. So if y'all have any suggestions on that, let me know. So then just the base, I use antique wax, also by Waverly, and a little bit of water, and did like a little bit of a staining for the base. I did do the backside, I just didn't show you, and this is how it turned out. For this next DIY, I am just showing you that I am using one of Dollar Tree's little shadow boxes. Even they had a little bit of hot glue left over from this heart. And I'm just going to rip these hearts off. Maybe I could save them for another DIY. We'll see. But in doing so, I ended up peeling off the paper, which I was fine with. But there's also like this clear film that I was like really struggling to kind of get off because it was bubbling up in places where I couldn't get it. So I was really struggling with that. And then finally, I just left it alone and just thought I'll carry on with this DIY. So this was another thing that my husband actually gave me the inspiration for this last year, and I really wanted to do this, and I have no idea why it didn't get done, but I wanted to use that scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby, and it's really cute because it's got like the little tiny black hearts and everything. But the way it was already cut, it wasn't going to fit in the shadow box properly, and I thought that you would be able to see the edges, and I could have left it alone because the edges would have been pink from the original paper in the shadow box, but then I was also worried that you were going to be able to see you know, through the paper. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and paint all of this red because the letters that I'm going to be using for this DIY are going to be red. So I ended up scratching that idea, and I got a 5x7 canvas and decided to cut that apart. And I just so happened to throw away all of my extra canvases that I had saved from previous projects. I can't believe that I'd thrown it away because I thought I am never going to use these. And what does Heidi Sambal always tell you? Save your scraps. And I did for like the longest time. And the one time I finally throw it away, that's when I decide I need it. So I just cut it down, and I'm going to use some Mod Podge, do a light layer of that onto my shadow box, and then I'm going to be gluing the canvas inside. You could probably use a glue stick if you really hate using Mod Podge. The trick is with this is to do a really thin layer. That way it doesn't take very long to dry. Seriously, like maybe not even an hour. With my Cricut design space, I had created I love you in Morse code. I thought this was so stinking cute. You can look this up on like Google Images or something. That's pretty much how I got my inspiration and just kind of did it on Cricut design space. And then like the little dots are hearts. And so you can see I am really just weeding this out. Now, the way that is sitting on the paper right there looks so super cute, but my shadow box is actually too small. But I'm committed to doing it with this shadow box because of already how far I've come with this. So I'm just going to keep on going. And then, of course, I've found out that I am out of transfer tape. So I'm having to do all of this by hand. So let me tell you, not so much fun. So as you can see, I am doing this all by hand, and it kind of gets a little wonky. All the letters aren't lined up perfectly, but you know, this gives you inspiration of, you know, how to do your own project. And I can, if I can find the image from Google Images, I can link it down below if you want to check it out. And so, yeah, so the dots are hearts, and then the lines, I could have made the lines a little bit shorter. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. But with the O, it's supposed to be like 3 dashes, and I don't have enough space in my shadow box. So you'll see here in just a minute that I tried cutting it to thinking that maybe I could just cut them in half and it'll look okay, but then it doesn't really match the other dashes, and I just, you know, I was having such a hard time with this one. So I end up just scrapping that whole idea, and I get some crimson chalk paint by Waverly and just hand painted it myself. And that's how I kind of overcame that one. And yeah, and then I did the same thing with the V, and this is how this one turned out. It is super cute, even though it is not lined up perfectly. I'm okay with that. And I'm sorry that I forgot to really show you a finished product, but this next DIY, this was just something super simple. One of those wood plaques from Dollar Tree and some scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to cut it to fit, and light layer of Mod Podge again, and just glue that down. You could use, again, you could use glue sticks if you have them. I didn't know where my glue sticks were. I know I have them. But anyway, light layer so that it dries quickly. And I don't do a layer over top of the paper either. I don't want it bubbling up. It's just, you know, this was just supposed to be a super quick and easy project before I went and got the kids from school, you know, kind of deal. And the next thing I'm going to do after this dries, I have one of these stencils from Dollar Tree. And as soon as I seen this, at the very bottom of the stencil, it says happy together with a little heart. And I just thought that was so cute. I probably would have liked it better if it actually said better together. I think that sounded really cute too. But I like this one as well. And I use, this is not a chalk paint, it's acrylic paint. I think it's called Cardinal Red. And so I kind of forgot that when you're using a stencil, you're supposed to go like in an up and down motion so you don't get any bleed through. And as you can see with the E and the R, I forgot to do that and I messed up. But and there isn't really much fixing this, but I do take some more of the red paint and I just kind of connect all my lines so that it doesn't really look like I use a stencil, you know what I mean? And then to just kind of attempt to fix my mistake, I go in with a paint marker and I just outline the words, which actually turns out a lot better because it makes the words pop. And yeah, this was just a super easy Valentine DIY again for my tier tray. And stay tuned if you have not subscribed already. Please do so that you can see what that tier tray is going to look like. And thank you so much for watching. All right, y'all, that is it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, please give it a big thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share with someone you love. And I'll see y'all next time.